Hello, this is Craig Mertens, Director of Product Education for Inktovo, the parent company of SignTracker. I'm going to walk you through processing a job in SignTracker. SignTracker is a cloud-based application. You can access it on a Windows computer, Mac, or a tablet. I've landed on the dashboard, and this is where you get a top-down overview of everything that's going on in the shop. You'll notice you have job stages here. These are fully customizable, so it's quite easy to take your manual workflow and map it out to a digital workflow in SignTracker. You'll also notice they're color-coded by due date. Over here on the left, you'll see recent jobs that we've added. You'll see training resources, including our very detailed help center. And we also have a massive library of training videos and recorded webinars. We also host weekly live webinars, where you can join our founder, Joe Arnello, as he walks you through various features of the software. SignTracker includes a built-in CRM. If I go over here to Contacts, I can import a contact list in a CSV file format. But if I've integrated my QuickBooks Online or Desktop account, all my contacts will sync with QuickBooks. Once connected, approved SignTracker quotes will convert to QuickBooks invoices. So let's go ahead and pull up a customer. You'll notice if I click into a customer, I have the main contact information, the company information, but I also have the ability to add employees because in some cases, when you're sending out a quote, it might go to a different department. You'll also notice we can add notes. And here's all the customer history, jobs in progress, the sales pipeline, including an archive of previous jobs if I want to copy a job and create a new quote. To create a job, just click on Add Job. I'm going to name the job, and then under Description, I'm going to add my scope of work. This is so that my employees have good visibility on the general instructions for the job. The customer is already pre-selected. You notice all their basic information is here. I'm going to select my job type, whether it's a product or a service. I'm going to select a manager. In this case, I'm going to select myself. And then a sales rep or a secondary person. This is important because as jobs are approved, these people are going to be notified. This is going to be a rush order. I'm going to go ahead and assign a due date. Next, I'll click on Submit. You can think of a job as a digital filing system. Everything that has to do with that job is going to be stored in a centralized location. So for instance, tasks, notes, file attachments, any estimates. I'm going to go ahead and attach the files for this job here. I'm going to go ahead and click on Upload Files. I'm going to select the files that I'd like to upload. SignTracker is going to create high-resolution previews of all my files in common graphics formats, Photoshop, Illustrator, CorelDRAW, JPEG, TIFF, PDF, all your popular formats. They're full resolution. If I want to go into a file and apply a file tag, I can do that. So we'll add a tag here that this is final production. We'll go back to the other file, and then we'll tag that file as a mock-up. And this is also a great place to put site photos, completion photos, all of the documents and photography that would go along with the job. Once the files are uploaded, I can screen out to find just the production file, and anybody on the team can download the file for production. To create an estimate, I'm going to click on Contracts, New Contract, and I'll be presented with 3 ways to create an estimate. The first way would be to clone a previous estimate and just update the data. It gives you a great head start. The second way would be to build one from scratch. So I can go to New Line Item. I already have my materials database built out within SignTracker, so I could start adding materials. For instance, I could go over here and type in banner, pick my banner material. If I want to add grommets, I could go in and put the dimensions in. In this case, I'm pricing by the square foot, and in grommets, I'm pricing by the each. Put in my labor, and I could create an estimate from scratch. But the easiest way to create an estimate is from a template. What we have is what we call quoting templates. You'll build out custom templates based on the way you quote and the way you work. And when you create an estimate, you'll simply go to your custom template. In this case, a 4x8 banner. Here's the different banner materials that I use for my shop. I'm going to go ahead and minus out the ones that I'm not using. And we're going to settle on the 13-ounce banner. I'm going to change this to a 3x6. It's going to automatically calculate the price based on square footage or however I determine to price by. For instance, upright inch, I could use that. And then I'm going to go ahead and update this. We're going to put in 16 grommets, and hem tape is going to be 32 linear feet. And then this is a reprint, so I don't need a design charge. And then all the different charges, whether it's a commission or if it's a discount or any extra charges like art setup, taxes are going to be coordinated with your QuickBooks account, or you can also put tax rates in right here. We have a summary. This is what's going to be displayed in the estimate. SignTracker quoting is extremely flexible. I can add markup percentages to individual categories, say materials or labor, and I can also have individual markups by line item. In the materials database, I can mark up the individual materials to hedge against waste or inbound shipping. And then to create the estimate, I'm just going to click on Save and Add. Next, I'll create a contract. I'll click on Save and View. And this is what's going to go over to the customer. So I could download a PDF here if I choose to. I can show itemization. For instance, if I want to show the calculation and how we got to that $363 cost, I can do that. And I can also grab a customer link here. I can paste that into an email, and the customer can sign the contract electronically. Click on the link, click on Sign and Approve. The project manager and salesperson will get an email notifying them if it's been approved or rejected. And I also have the option of approving it manually. I'm going to go over here and switch this from an opportunity. It's coming out of my sales pipeline. I'm going to move it into the design department. Jobs can have multiple estimates, so I'll go over here to Quote Worksheets. And this is where I'd access any of the estimates that are part of this job. We also have editable business forms. If I fill a form within SignTracker, it'll automatically save to that job. SignTracker also includes 270 editable vector sign templates. You can use these for presentations or for submitting permits. We include a wide variety of templates. You have very detailed technical drawings that you can submit for permitting. The easiest way to set up tasks is by using task templates. These are fully customizable. In the case of this task template, I've pre-assigned it to team members, and then I'm going to go over here and manually assign this to a specific person. Tasks are automatically populated into the employee's task list. They'll receive an email anytime a task is assigned to them, and so when they come into work each day, they know exactly what they need to do. Anything required for the job is stored in one centralized location. Your team has instant visibility with no need to dig through file folders. So let's exit out of here and go into the job flow board. The job flow board is the heart and soul of SignTracker. This is your top-down view of everything that's going on in your shop. So you'll see over here under Opportunity and Quote, that's my sales pipeline. It looks like we have a blocker here. We're waiting on artwork from the salesperson to progress over to the design department. Here's the job we just completed. Here's the scope of work. Here's a link to the file attachments as well as the tasks. If I want to advance this job to the next stage, it's simply a matter of drag and drop. I'm going to throw it over here to pre-production so we can get it scheduled. All of these columns are fully customizable. They'll have your names. They're going to be in the order that you choose. What you're doing is matching your physical workflow in your business with a digital workflow. All of the views are customizable. So let's say somebody's in the sales department and they want to see everything that's going on in terms of the job flow board. They can do that. You can set up custom views so your team members can look at the job cards that are specific to them. In addition to the job flow board, you also have the list view. So you have another way of looking at jobs in a list. It's fully sortable. So if I want to go and look at jobs for a specific stage, and I can also search for a job within the list view. All tasks are available in the task list. So I'm going to go here to the drop down. I'll select task list. As a manager, I can view all tasks for all my employees. Employees can look at their own tasks as well as the tasks of their coworkers. I can add notes to a task. I can complete a task. It's a very simple and straightforward way to manage the tasks within your shop. I'm going to link back to the job from the job flow board. And as you see over here on the right, this is the activity tracker. And you'll notice it's tracking everything that's going on the job when things are being approved, production stages that are moved, if there's any change to a quote. All of that is permanently tracked in the software, so we have a record of what's occurring within that job. A task is assigned to an individual, but the new task board allows me to assign a task to a resource. So that resource could be a department like sales or design. It could be a specific printer or piece of equipment. It could even be your installers. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to select this particular task, install banner, rush job. I'm going to select edit task, and I'm going to allocate this task to a specific installer. So we'll just say install 1. I'm going to flag it as a high priority. It's a rush job. We're going to say it's in progress, and then I'm going to select a date. I'm going to save that, and it's going to show up in the column for installs. So here it is. I'm on installer 1, but let's say I want to move it over to installer 2. It's just a simple drag and drop. So this is one more way we can see what's going on within the shop. The SignTracker calendar brings everything together. The calendar is going to allow me to see everything that's going on in my shop, all of my jobs, all of my specific tasks, any recurring meetings, any special meetings I have going on. I can turn categories on or off. I can mute categories or events that don't apply to me. I have the ability to view by month, week, or day. The calendar brings everything together with one centralized view. SignTracker reporting allows me to manage my sales pipeline, look at my work in progress, get a summary of all my jobs, as well as monitor the job history so I can see the entire journey of the order as it travels through my system and spot any bottlenecks. SignTracker is the daily driver that you're going to use to run your shop. It has all of the core features you need, but none of the complexity you don't. For more information on SignTracker, visit sign-tracker.com.